just quick.
Welcome to the Copy Closer podcast. Today we've got an amazing guest for you. Somebody I've been following for a while. I've been stalking him online like a madman. Now he's on our show, so I'm super happy. We got the famous Anik Singal over here. How you doing, Anik?
I'm doing great, man. How are you? Fighting off a cold in case I sniffle or cough, everybody. But hey, the fighting entrepreneur's got to march forward, so we're going to do this thing. I'm excited. Let's talk copy or whatever the heck you want.
Hell yeah, man. Well, one of the things that a lot of people know you for, if they just, so it's funny. The reason I'm saying this, because my buddy Mike just saw one of your ads where you talk about how you're going to be building people's funnels and doing all this stuff. And he didn't know you're actually, I guess, had some kind of background in copywriting. He's like, this guy's got amazing ads. He's like the best media buyer in the world. He's got all this cool stuff. I'm like, yeah, he was also a copywriter, I think, back in the day. I don't know, but there might be something to it. So I'd love to know kind of I want to get into some tactical stuff, later into this podcast, but I'd love to know, where did you start? What did you do before, I guess, you even fell into marketing, and how did you even fall into marketing? It's always a cool story.
No, I'm happy to share. So it's funny you ask about the copywriter. I have this joke with my wife. I say, when I die on my tombstone, I want it to say great husband, great father, copywriter. I identify with the word. It's who I am. And wow, was I not meant to be a copywriter. How the heck I fell into this world, it's such a cool story, but it's a story that's helped me create over $250 million in sales. And I tell you, I glow when I talk about copywriting, and you can't be around me long enough and not walk away thinking, man, I want to learn copywriting, because I genuinely believe it's the number one skill every entrepreneur has to have. If you are struggling right now for success, it's because it's copywriting. It's the be all end all for success. And I'll just give you the story of how I fell into it. So this kind of goes back to high school. So in high school, I was this overachiever kid, okay? I'm brown, I'm Indian, so what was I going to be? I was going to be a doctor. That was set. It was written in stone. I was going to become a doctor. So how do you become a doctor? You got to have great grades. You got to ace the SATs. You got to, get into a great undergrad school that you can get to med school. So I was on that line. Now, I've never been the smartest guy in the room, and I never will be. But you can't out-hustle me. I've worked the hardest of anyone in the room. So in high school, I would just work hard and get A's. I had straight A's. And so I got put into this advanced placement writing class. So I walk into this class, arrogant as crap, ego, marching in, chest out, writing. Writing is the stupidest thing. It's a waste of time. Who cares? This is BS. I'm just going to ace this class by just doing, nothing. So we got our first book report. First day, the freaking teacher, who was a PhD in English, she took it really seriously. First day gives us an assignment, our first paper. We're like, wow, all right. So we have to read Pride and Prejudice and write a book report. So to me, that translates into the following. We had a week to do it, all right, or a week and a half. I mean, imagine, this teacher was hardcore.
I was like, what school did you go to?
Advanced placement writing, man. I mean, we had very short time to read the whole book. So, of course, I'm like, read a book, watch a movie. Back then, we had Blockbuster, not Netflix. And so I went to Blockbuster the night before, rent the movie, watch it. I puke on a piece of paper for 2 hours, just words. And I'm like done. And I'm like, joke is on everybody else who worked hard on this thing. How easy was that? I submit my paper, chest out. I'm like, man, I'm going to ace it like I ace everything in life. And I get that paper back a week later. Man, I have not seen more red on paper in my life. That thing had X's. It had things I'd never seen. And it had a big ass D- right at the top.
Oh my.
Okay. God. And I was a first in my life. When you go back kindergarten, I never gotten a D in my life. So I was worked up. My dad was super involved in my education. So when that happened, I was still so arrogant. I walked up to the teacher. I handed it back to her. I'm like, there's been a mistake. I genuinely thought there's been a mistake. She looks at me and she says, yeah, it should have been an F, but I gave you a D- because I was being nice. I'm like, what? Who do you think you're talking to? So I go home and tell my dad. That leads to a bunch of parent-teacher conferences. Guidance counselors get involved. I'm going there every lunch for extra tutoring. Now, here's the problem, and my teacher saw through me. I wasn't going there for extra tutoring because I wanted to learn to write. I was going there for extra tutoring just to bug her enough to get a better grade. I had to get an A, right? I couldn't ruin my straight A stride. So I, quote unquote, worked hard that semester, but I didn't really care for writing. I hated it. I even told my teacher once, I said, look, the only thing I'm ever going to write is a prescription pad. I don't care. She got so frustrated with me. I remember once this poor woman comes to me and says, please don't ever write for a living, no matter what you do. right? I mean, I was that bad. And I was like, I don't care. So this is my initial introduction to the world of writing. I hated it. And I did not get an A. I got a B- in that class. It broke my straight A stride, right? So I carried that with me. I go to college. I'm going to study to be a doctor. Within the first 2 months, I realized I'd rather stick a knife in my eye. I can't handle it. I don't want to do it. It's not for me. So through one thing to another, I switched professions. I switched universities. I lost my full scholarship. My poor father now has to pay all this money for me to go to school. And I switched to business school, which no one in my family's ever done. My dad's like, what's going on? This kid was on a straight track to like a Harvard, medical school. Now he wants to do all this. But my parents are amazing, supported me. So I decide to start trying to find a way to make money online. I just had to make some money. I wanted to buy a nice car, man. I really wanted to buy a nice car. So I started researching stuff, and I fall onto this forum. It was more like a chat board that was talking about people that were selling PDF books or PDF things on ClickBank. So I'm like, what is this? Now, imagine this is 16 years ago. This is a long time ago. And so I felt like it was finally something that didn't sound scammy. It didn't sound like stuff in envelopes or whatever. So I kind of got intrigued by it. I started researching it, started studying it for like 7 months. I studied it. And finally I was like, man, I got it. I know exactly what I need to do. I got the niche. I got the everything. And the funniest thing is, man, I was broke. I had no money. So I had to write a book. It was like the irony of life, right? So I had to create my first product. And man, I put my heart and soul into it. It was a 300-page book. I still think it might be the best book I've ever written. And it was all for college students to teach them how to study in school.
Oh.
All right, $47. And then, Carlos, guess what? I need this thing called a sales page, right? And I can't afford to hire anybody. So the problem solver inside of me goes, and I just pulled up a bunch of sales pages from other people. And I'm like, let's just do it. Now, look, I was writing out of necessity. So it didn't even process that, hey, you've been writing for months straight now. Like the one thing that you hated, that you suck at the most, this is what you're doing. Because that's what entrepreneurs do. We do what's necessary. We just don't sit and fret about it. So I wrote something that looked like a sales page. I learned to do design. I used Microsoft Front Page. Rest in peace. I miss you. Awesome software. Built my business on it. Everyone who hated on it, I hate you. Front Page was awesome. All right. So I built my whole website, my sales page using it. I go live. I got my Google ads ready to go. I go to class. I'm striding, man. I got a strut going on, going to class. I'm like, by the time I come back from this class, I'm going to be rich. I don't need any of this crap. So I get back from class. I run to my room, hit refresh, 0, no sales. I'm like, all right, well, shoot, people are in class right now. They'll buy later. Days go by, 0 sales. So I'm bummed out, man. It was 7 months of hard work. I wrote. Once again, my relationship with writing is proving to be completely poisonous. Like it's toxic. It's not working. So in a last-ditch effort, this one person introduces me to a person by the name of Justin Ford. And he says, hey, maybe you're selling this book to the wrong people. You should not be selling this book to students. Sell it to the parents who pay for college. I said, God, that's brilliant. So he says, I know a person who sells products to parents. Maybe he can help you. I said, great. So he connects me to this guy, Justin. I message Justin, and within a day, Justin replies, sorry, kid, can't help you. I speak to parents of toddlers and infants. Yours is college kids, not the same market. I'm like, all right, yet another door shut down. However, a day after that, Justin sends me another email, and this is all the email says. It says, hey, by the way, who wrote this page? He's referencing my sales page. Oh man, Carlos, when I heard that, dude, I had chills go through me. I was like, shit. He's gonna totally hate on me. It was like that English teacher flashback. I'm like, he's gonna make fun of my copy. I'm so bad. I'm a horrible writer. No wonder I'm not making any money. No wonder I'm not getting any sales. It's horrible. But thankfully I wrote back and I said, Justin, that was me, but I know it needs a lot of work. It's just a test and da 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 da. Justin wrote back something I never expected in my entire life. He wrote back and said, actually, I see some potential in you to become a copywriter. I would like to offer you a paid internship under me to learn copywriting.
Wow.
And I sat back and stared at that email and I laughed and laughed. I said, this man has lost his mind. You want to pay me to write? Are you crazy? I hate writing. I'm not touching that with a 10,000-foot pole. So I said no. And you know what? I don't know what it was in Justin. And Justin and I have spoken about this so many times since then. He did not give up. Now, one thing I loved about Justin is he was a very wise man. Every time he spoke, it was like wise business intelligence and words. So I liked him. So I kept talking to him, but I kept saying, no, 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 don't want to learn copy. One day, Justin makes me an offer. And if anyone's wondering why I'm going on and on with this story, there's a truly awesome, cool, like climax to it. So stay with me. So one day he makes me an offer. He says, I want you to fly down to Delray Beach. There is a copywriting event happening. I will pay for your flight, your hotel, your ticket to the event, and everything. And you get to come hang out with me for 2 days. Broke college kid, free vacation to a beach. Are you kidding me? I'm in. I'll go. I don't care what it's about. So I show up and I decide myself as an entrepreneur, I'm like, hey, listen, if you're going to go here, honor the man's investment in you. Sit up front, take notes, be excited, listen, and at least give it all you got. Now I'm expecting to walk into a room with a bunch of people with their pinkies out, sipping little, cups of tea, because writers, right? That's what writers do. And I walk in, man, the first person who greets me is a biker in leather freaking pants and leather jeans, tattoos everywhere. I'm like, whoa, what's going on? That place was vibrant, people dancing around, crazy. It was not what I ever expected. So I go sit in the first row. Now, I've been in the marketing space at this point for over a year studying. They introduce the keynote speaker. They say, ladies and gentlemen, please stand up and put your hands together for Michael Masterson, also known as Mark Ford.
Wow.
And I just froze. First of all, I was like, Michael Masterson. I knew enough to know who that Michael Masterson was. I'm like, I'm going to listen to this guy. But then I caught something. Mark Ford. So within a couple hours, I ran to Justin. I said, Justin, your last name is Ford. And he goes, yeah, I know. And I'm like, and he goes, that's my big brother.
Shut the fuck up. What?
And I'm like, oh my God. For months, the younger brother of arguably the best copywriter to have ever lived has been begging me to work under him to learn copywriting. What the heck is wrong with me? So on the spot, that very minute, I was like, you got to do this. And then Justin says something to me at that event that changed my life forever. $250 million goes back to this one sentence that changed my life. I never understood what it meant at the time, but it made an indent on me. And it took me years to understand what it meant. And here's what he said. He said, every successful business person must be able to sell through the art of the written word. Those were the final closing words he said to me when I was like, I'm in. I never understood what it meant, but man, it was so wise. It sounds wise, right? Every successful business person must be able to sell through the art of the written word. And it was not probably till I had sold $70, $80 million online that I thought, holy crap, I get it. Every penny of what I have made is thanks to this. Thanks to the ability to write. That weekend, that event changed my life, my perspective on writing. I fell in love with the idea of writing. Now, guess what? I still grammatically suck. All right? My English teacher would still not like me. I've written books now, multiple books, but I don't have to edit them. I just write. I got great people to edit them, right? So grammatically, they're okay. But people still message me all the time, hey, your book's got grammatical errors. And I'm like, whatever, dude.
Whatever.
$250 million in sales. No one cares where the hell my commas are and periods are and dashes are. They care about the message. That's it, man. I mean, I never looked back after that. And now I've invented my own copywriting formulas. I'm out there teaching it. The stuff that they taught 20, 30 years ago, it doesn't work anymore. I'm out there now teaching how direct marketing is dead. Direct marketing has died. It has evolved into something I call interactive marketing. And because it has evolved in interactive marketing, the old formula no longer works. We are now on the new formula. There's a new way of writing copy because the human mind has anatomically changed. Microsoft has a study that proves it. 2015, they proved, this is an actual study, that a human being now has the attention span of 8 seconds. Goldfish have an attention span of 9 seconds. We as humans now have the attention. Yeah, man, it's crazy. We've come down from 15 seconds to 8. So obviously, look, even while I'm talking to you right now, my phone has got dings and bings going on. There's messages coming at me. There's so many distractions now. So as a copywriter, you've got to change how you communicate if you're going to win in this game. And so I just love it, man. You know what I love about copywriting, Carlos? Here's what it comes down to. And I understand now why I've become so good at it. Because as a kid, there was one subject I loved. There's the only subject in college, freshman year, I finished the textbook. We were only supposed to do the first third of it. I actually voluntarily read the rest of the textbook. When have you ever heard anyone to do that? It was psychology. I love psychology. I just love the thought patterns and the human interactions and the brain and how it works. And that's what copywriting is. Once you understand psychology, once you understand copywriting, you master human psychology.
Yeah.
Right? So now, whether I'm trying to convince my wife to let me go do something, let me take a guy's trip to Vegas, or whether I'm talking to my parents, or whether I'm, meeting new people at a dinner party. Listen, man, I was the shyest kid you'd ever meet. Now I go to a dinner party, I got a crowd of people around me. I'm the center of attention. I'm genuinely using my 5-step copywriting formula again and again and again in every interaction. So copywriting for me, I'm done with my rant now, by the way, but copywriting for me friggin' changed my life, dude. It is by far the most important skill every entrepreneur must have. If they don't have it, they're missing out.
Oh, I see. You're like the best person to interview. I love it because you have so much passion about this that you can keep going on and on and on. And it doesn't take hard work on my side to get good information. Like I've got
like a freaking 16-minute rant right there.
No, dude, I've got like a page of notes already that I'm loving. So but you talked about something that was really interesting, and it's kind of a cool statement, kind of a bold statement about the old methods of direct marketing, copywriting, stuff like that are essentially not working anymore. And you talked about interactive marketing. Can you talk a little bit more about what interactive marketing is, and then kind of lead that into your 5-step formula you dropped there that now I'm dying to write now?
Yeah, man. Okay, so let's talk about direct marketing, right? So if you go back in time, the first kind of marketing that was ever really around was brand marketing, right? So because marketing was so expensive 30, 40, 50 years ago, mostly big brands would run big campaigns, and they were doing brand marketing. They wanted logo recognition, name recognition. They wanted familiarity with the brand. Then comes along, direct marketing decades and decades and decades ago, centuries ago. And direct marketing made it so that people that aren't Nike, that aren't GE, can do ads, because it was, I send you a letter, you buy something. It cost me $1, I made back $1.50. So I can scale that, I can do that all day long. So all of a sudden it opens up the world. So it's called direct marketing because it's direct to consumer. But you can actually look up the definition of direct marketing on Google right now, and it specifically speaks to the effect of things like postcards, direct mail, billboards, infomercials. That's direct marketing, okay? Direct marketing is one-way communication, one way. The only way your consumer communicates back to you is if they purchase. That's it. Look, man, if I send you a letter, I have no flipping idea if you opened it, read it, touched it, got it, received it. Sure. I got no clue. So, and now think about how expensive direct marketing is today in today's terms. If I want to film an infomercial, I'm going to put $50,000 to $60,000 in filming costs.
Yeah, it's a 6-figure deal.
Yeah, in order to do even a small test, another 50 grand. Yeah. So it's a $100,000 minimum risk to test an infomercial. Okay, do you know how much it cost me to run an ad on Facebook to test? $20.
Yeah.
$20. That is a monumental difference. Okay, now we go back. So let's just look at some of the most popular direct marketing mechanisms used 20, 30, 40 years ago. Cold calling. How much do we love those now?
No.
I mean, there are apps developed to block them. I don't answer if I don't know a number. Cold calling. All right, but that was huge back in the day. Okay, postcards. I mean, unless I'm sending a postcard to my uncle and aunt who are like 70, 80 years old, I don't really know what the hell postcards are used for. Billboards. They're there. I don't look at them. Okay, let's talk about sales letters mailed to your mailbox. Do you know, I check my mailbox like once every 10 days now, and it's usually because my post office person gets pissed and leaves a note at my door that says, please empty your damn mailbox. And I don't care what's in there because it's not important anymore. But I remember my dad's ritual. That was a sacred box. He'd come home from work. He had a ritual. He walked there, get the mail, walk in, put his briefcase down, get a cup of tea, go sit in a special chair with his little letter opener and read every single thing that came through. We don't have that now, right? So, and then you look at direct selling. How many times as a kid would you have seen someone come into your parents' home with a briefcase, sit down and talk to them, selling them something? When's the last time you saw that now? I don't even open the door. If there's a doorbell, I got a Ring app. I look at them. If I don't recognize them, I'm not getting up off the couch. It's a different day and age. You don't want to open your door. It's not safe anymore even. So direct marketing has to evolve because now what's happening is it's evolved into interactive marketing. So what's interactive marketing? It's a two-way communication. Consumers now have control over marketing. It's a good thing and a bad thing. Direct marketing, they did not. I could puke all over you and just send marketing to you and you couldn't do anything about it. Now consumers, look, if you're on Facebook, you don't like something, don't show me this, right? If you're on Facebook, you scroll past it 3 or 4 times, Facebook reads your interaction and says, Carlos doesn't like this topic. Stop showing him ads about it. But you stop and click on my face, you see one of my ads, you click it, Facebook says, ooh, Carlos seems to engage with Anik, show more ads. So you as a consumer, just by being in the environment and behaving like yourself in the environment, are actually selecting what you see and what you don't. You select if you click an ad. You select if you go to the page. You select and choose if you opt in. You choose if you open emails. You choose if you click the links in the emails. You have control. You're interacting with me all the time. If you click an ad, you interacted with me. So interactive marketing is now built off the basis of micro commitments. This is why the opt-in page process works so well, because consumers have wide choices. Think about this also. 20, 30 years ago, you got a letter in the mail. It had the best weight loss secret in the world. And you're reading the letter. All right, let's say there's no Google, there's no Yahoo, this is pre-internet. You read it, you get excited. What are you going to do? Call your friends and say maybe they've seen it, maybe they know about it? How are you going to check? You don't. You just say, I'm going to take a shot. $50, I'll buy it. Today, you're not even 2 pages in and you got Google out and you're looking into it. You're thinking about it. What is it? You're seeing all the marketing from its competitors. You're seeing review sites. Consumers have full control now. So they get to choose whether they want to buy with you. And so you can't throw up messaging that's marketing too fast, too soon. You can't make them commit too big, too soon. You've got to date your consumers now before you can marry them. And that's micro commitment, and that's interactive marketing. Interactive marketing means you need to build your copy, you need to build your marketing in such a way that you are reading the responses from the market and evolving and improving, like retargeting ads, you know, knowing where in your funnel people are and changing the messaging and marketing. That's interactive marketing, and I'm sorry, but that's the future. I mean, it's the present, it's the future.
Have you heard of a software? I'm sure there's other kinds called Lucky Orange, where it records the screen of your page.
I use it every day.
I was going to say, it sounds like you would use it, because saying what you, how else would you be able to see where, you know, where people are dropping off and stuff like that? Have you used, and I'm curious because I've used it and I saw it, not a huge difference, but it's a decent difference. We had a little on our opt-in page. Our opt-in page with solo ads was not very high because we had a bunch of qualifications in there. So it wasn't going to be high, but we went from about 24, 25-ish opt-in rate. Then Lucky Orange has a really cool option where you can throw on like a little chat, not even a chat option. You can throw in damn, I can't even remember what it's called, but it's a little pop-up that comes up on the page, and you're allowed to ask a question. They have to, you know, click yes or no or whatever. So what I did is I say, do you believe you're ever going to be rich? Yes or no. If they click the yes button, a little message shows up saying, okay, great. This is something that we're going to be able to help you with, blah, blah, blah. If they say, no, I don't think I'll ever be rich, I say, hey, no worries. This is not for you. You should probably leave this page. We can only work with people who have a solid mindset and blah, 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 right? But what we noticed is that when we drop it, we didn't do anything different to the page. We got to about 29-ish, not a full 30% opt-in rate, but still just on opt-ins to go from, say, 25 to 29, that's a decent little, you know, bump by doing nothing else, by throwing that little interactive option there. So I didn't even consciously think of that. Now that you're talking about interactive marketing, that's probably why it worked. We're just trying a bunch of different shit, and that's just something that
you're interacting. You're eliciting response. Okay? This is my new rule that I teach all my students. I teach copywriting. Copywriting is not about selling anymore. It's not. And people don't understand this. Copywriting, and so this is, you know, man, I'm such a geek with copywriting. I got goosebumps as I talk about it right now. Copywriting is not about selling. Everyone, write this down. If you're driving, pay attention. Copywriting is about consumption, not about selling. The longer someone consumes your material, they're going to buy. They're sending you the right interaction. They're spending time with you. That obviously means your message is resonating. They're automatically going to buy. So you need to focus on less selling and more consumption. And that will change your entire paradigm of how you write copy completely from A to Z. From A to Z. So another tip I just wanted to give to you. So I've not tried what you just said on Lucky Orange. I got to be honest. I did not know that feature even existed.
Dude, it's crazy.
Lucky Orange? I've never tried that. But have you used use proof on your pages?
What is that?
Use proof is a little pop-up window on the bottom right, left side that just pops up that, hey, Carlos from so-and-so just opted in. Hey, so-and-so from so-and-so opted in. Dude, 10 to 15% bump just by throwing that on there. That's it. It's API driven. You don't got to do nothing. You just throw it up, leave it there on the little corner. It's a de facto. We don't even split test it anymore. We split tested it so many times it won every time. We just have it on all of our pages now.
Yeah. That's really interesting. One of my old clients, Travis, who I kind of started stealing some of this, I always fuck up his last name, Travis Sago or Sago or something. But he had a really cool formula back in the day where he would basically go from long form email directly to an order page. And that was working. And then what he figured out, from my understanding, because I'm not Travis, what he figured out is he was sending email to long form sales page with a chat box that would come up, and he'd have his salesperson engaging everybody who was on that order page for, say, a minute. And now they'd have this back and forth dialogue. So it's, again, proving the fact that interactive marketing is really what's taking over. I don't think anyone's actually put that, like, conceptualize it as well as what you're talking about. At least I know I haven't. I've just heard about throwing shit on there, make stuff happen.
It's really like the fourth thing I'd want on my tombstone. So it's a great husband, great father, copywriter, founder of interactive marketing. So I've been really trying, right now we're working on a book where, it's called, I was calling it The Death of Direct Marketing. And to be very honest with you, I was petrified of what Dan Kennedy would do to me if I released that book. And rest in peace, what a man. I mean, what a service he did to all of us. I don't know. So I changed the name to Birth of Interactive Marketing, and now I'm like, so it really is, it's all about the interaction, man. It's all about creating the back and forth with the consumer. It's all about the fact that consumers are so commitment phobic now. I mean, they don't want to commit until they're ready. So the more micro commitments you can create, it's just better. It wins every time for us. There isn't one time where I've tested taking a funnel or something of mine that was micro focused and moving it to just macro, like everything at one time. I've never made a funnel work on the macro level. But that's what a lot of marketers are doing. A lot of marketers hear the word copywriting and think, sell, sell, sell. I'm the exact opposite. I lure you in, I give content, I teach, I keep you. By the time I'm done with you, you just have to buy. If for no other reason than you've spent so much time with me, you feel like you got to do something now.
Right. Well, it sounds like you've taken a more methodical approach to your copy and your marketing. A lot of folks like myself, I've been guilty of just kind of being the lazy copywriter that's like, fuck it, let's just throw up a quick page, write a long form sales letter for some reason, and see what happens. But, that actually is not faster, because what it sounds like, if you can get these minor commitments, by the time they get to the sale, it doesn't have to be a 50-page sales letter, because you've kind of broken this up in little chunks. That's really interesting. Years ago, like 10 plus years ago, there was somebody doing it. I don't know who it was so long ago, and I remember seeing this, and I always think about this now, how it would probably work better now than it did then. But they would send you from their email list or whatever to their page, and the page was like a long form, or not even a long form article, maybe like 500, 1,000 words on a page. But what ended up happening is, how like when you read like a viral article and it goes to the next page, and to go to the next page, you have to click the next button to go to page 2 to continue reading the article. Well, that's what this person did with their sales page. They had like, I don't know, like let's say 7 or 10 next pages or whatever. But I don't know their stats, but I just remember thinking about that. I'm like, man, that's so smart, because I'm constantly committing myself to the next page. And by the time I get to page 10 or whatever, I've read all of this content. I'm sucked in. It was
Andre Shafran. Was it Andre Shafran from?
It may have been. This was over a decade.
Autoresponder magic. All right. So the first person to do this, and I can give him proper credit, because I copied it and I saw a ridiculous increase in conversions. And we're talking 13 years ago.
Yeah, had to be.
Mr. David D'Angelo himself, Eben Pagan, with Double Your Dating. Here's how it would work. The ugliest flippin' opt-in page you've ever seen, which till this day will crush any opt-in page. Little box, little headline, 2 little lines, and an email entry form. I made millions from that box. Okay. The only reason I don't use it anymore now is we're trying to build a brand at Learn. And I just can't. Of course. Something's got to be brand conscious too. Of
course.
But Eben, he is that freaking opt-in page, man. I can't tell you how many people copied it. And actually in Russell's new funnel hacker book, it's in there. He put it in there because we all copied it, right? We all copied that opt-in page. But what would happen is, so check this out. What would happen is the opt-in page was like this big was really small. It was a little box. You put your email address in. The next page was copy. It was written copy, but it was like a little longer. All right. Then you hit next, and it's a little longer. Then you hit next, and it's a little longer. And you go 5, 6 pages in. So, and the offer would be, whatever product he had. So I had a this is Affiliate Classroom. This was one of my first major products that took off. That started making me hundreds of thousands a month. So I was selling it straight shot, long sales page. Okay. This is so long ago. Long sales page, $29.97 a month. And I was doing all right. 1% conversion, 1.5, like not even, maybe half of that. I was doing all right. It was okay. Someone on this very forum that I used to be on messaged me and was like, you got to check out what, this guy, David D'Angelo's doing. This is before anyone knew him as Evan Pagan. And so I was like, all right, go check it out. And I don't know, I hated the funnel. I thought there's no chance this will work. But thankfully, the entrepreneur in me, the tester in me was like, it'll take me one night to create it. Let's sit back and create it. It'll be fun to see what happens. So I created, I hit save page as. Like I took his page, like I was ruthless with it and I copied it. And I did he had 4 pages that got bigger. I had 4 pages got bigger. I made 2 major changes that day. I started driving all of my traffic, so 3 major changes. I started driving all of my traffic to the opt-in page. I broke my whole sales page down into these multi-pages. And then on the last step, instead of asking for $29.97 up front for the first month, I did a trial. And are you ready for the conversion increase I saw? It was 1,100%. Wow! 1,100% increase by those 3 things. So it wasn't just one thing alone. I did 3 of those things. And I'm telling you, man, I made millions from that because my membership site just started booming after that, like crazy. I had affiliates promoting like gangbusters because they were making so much recurring money. And I think back and I'm like, shit, micro commitments the whole time. It was staring me right in the face. And it makes sense. It really makes sense. It's how I buy. I can watch my own purchase behavior. Micro commitments, man. How have I spent so much money with Apple? I was not an Apple user at all. I didn't care for them, but I got an iPod. Yeah. I liked it. Next thing I know, I own every product that don't know what to do with half of them. I don't even know what they do. They release a product, I buy it. I don't even like some of them. But I'm like, no, I must support Apple. It's just in every major place you go, it's micro commitment process that we're using to make purchase decisions now.
Now, you mentioned something a little earlier about a 5-step copywriting system or copywriting process and stuff. Can you kind of go over that a little bit now?
Man. So very simple process I use. And I am not a man, when I teach copywriting, I do not teach. I'm not the man that teaches words. I don't care about words. Words carry 0 effect on copy. I said it. It's probably the most controversial statement. I don't care what words you use. I don't care about power words. I don't have a list of power words. I've never used it. I don't care. Here, if you understand one concept, that's copywriting is all about psychology. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter what words you're using. Listen, if I always use this example as a visual. If you've got 2 arms full of brand new Prada purses, I've stacked them up and I got these, I can sell them at 50% off. I got a great deal on them. And brand new, hot off, just like brand new model, never been seen before. And you open the door and I walk into a room full of 500 women that are known to be Prada lovers that are all rich. Yeah. What words are I just have to walk in, man. And my arms will get ripped off. Mm-hmm. Okay. So that's the world we live in today because Facebook and Google and the targeting we can do allows you to build these rooms that are so damn targeted. You don't need to use fancy words, but you do need to know the psychology. And so the psychology is what the 5-step process works on. So the 5 steps real quick. Step 1 is introduction. Now, none of these steps, as I title them, are going to sound very, mind blown to you. But when you see how I deploy them, it will really change. So step 1 is introduction. Step 2 is story. Step 3 is content. Step 4 is pitch. Step 4 is transition. Step 5 is pitch. So again, introduction, story, content, transition, pitch. So let's go through each one. And the way I teach this to copywriters is I don't talk about words. I talk about the purpose, the psychological purpose behind each step and how it builds the narrative that eventually leads to a sale. Step 1, introduction. Plain and simple. What's the purpose of an introduction? It's what's in it for me. So that's exactly why starting copy with, hi, my name is Anik Singal. I've been doing internet marketing for 16 years. I've won lots of prizes. I'm really good at what I do, and I can show you how to. No one cares. No one, honestly, I swear, I hate to say this. No one cares about you. They just don't care. So versus, this is why headlines. A headline is an introduction on a written sales page. All right? And your introduction has to be as long as compared to the ask of the price. So on a webinar, an introduction is 3 to 5 minutes. Why? Because you're probably going to ask for $1,000 or $1,500. But on a VSL, it's probably 8 to 15 seconds. Because remember, attention span, 8 seconds. That's Microsoft study. On a written sales page, you're typically only asking for 97 or less. So it's just the headline at the top. But what's in it for them? You know? So something as simple as 5 secrets about paleo that no one told you that could kill you. Read this letter now. Yeah. It's like, someone who's about to do paleo is kind of
they're going to want it. Yeah.
They're going to want to read it, you know? And remember, my purpose of the introduction is not to sell them. I'm not trying to sell my product. Consumption, ladies and gentlemen. Consumption. My purpose is to get them to read. So the purpose of the introduction is what's in it for them long enough so that they get to the story so that I can hook them. All right. So now we move on to step number 2, story. The biggest mistake I see being made with story. People immediately come out and say, you know, so let's say, Carlos, I'm teaching copywriting, okay? And let's say you were way back when you were trying to learn copywriting, and I come in and I'm like, Carlos, I'm a 3-time Pulitzer Prize winning writer, 7-time New York Times best-selling author. I have a master's in English. I have a PhD in writing. I am a poet of 7 of the most famous poems in the world. I've spent my life writing. I could teach you how to write. You're going to be like, dude, I don't got any of that.
I don't got any of that shit.
I'm not as smart as you. Like, I'm not doing that, right? So really, this is how people approach story. People think the purpose of story is credibility, and it is not at all. It is not at all. The true purpose of story is relatability. All right? So when I tell a story, the first thing I want to establish is, ladies and gentlemen, I am not special. I am just like you, but the system, the product, this, that I was so fortunate, so blessed to have received, right? This is the Holy Grail. So I'm just like you, but I was fortunate. I got this. Now look, I got lucky. Do you want to wait till you get lucky, or can I just hand it to you? So a great story is always a journey, but a lot of people start their journey and it's about themselves. Once upon a time I was born and blah, blah, blah. No, your story, a true story, is about the journey to discovering the system. Because in that journey, you get a chance to subconsciously plant just how freaking difficult it was. The hardships you went through, how, you know, the person then's reading and listening is thinking, I don't want to go through all that, man. I better just give him some money and let me take it here.
Exactly.
So the true purpose of story is relatability. The other concept I teach here that everyone can walk away with, a visual for story, is Batman versus Robin. Don't be Batman. So Carlos, if I come to you tomorrow and I'm like, Carlos, what are you doing tonight? And you're like, I don't know, going to bed, watching some Netflix. I'd be like, dude, you're such a waste of life. Why don't you go out and save the world? Why don't you like climb buildings and stop crime? That's what Batman does. What would you say to me, Carlos? If I was like, why aren't you out fighting crime like Batman?
I'm fucking lazy. I don't know. Probably
you'd be like, dude, I'm not Batman.
Yeah, I'm not fucking Batman.
I don't got billions of dollars. I don't have a dude underground making me trinkets and toys. I'm not in the best shape of my life. I couldn't stop a bullet with my head. Like, I'm not Batman. But if I came to you and said, Carlos, what are you doing tonight? And you're like, I'm hanging out, chilling. I'm like, great. Hey, Batman is at the corner of 5th and K Street and needs a ride to the other side of town so you can go fight crime. Do you think you drive him?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I can do that. You can drive a car. So be Robin. Listen, the only time you're allowed to be Batman is if you are the product. If you're selling coaching, consulting, contract work, services, agency, you're Batman. Because you want to put at Batman what the eventual product is. So if you set yourself up so amazing, but eventually you're selling a product that's not you, imagine the subconscious disconnection you've created there. The person really wanted you, but they're just getting this like kind of version of you that lives in a PDF or a video. So that's not right, right? But so this is where we come to relatability. So now we kind of flow the narrative into content. So content, what's the purpose of content? Well, shock here is its credibility. Most people would never think this, but this is because consumers have unlimited choice now. Remember, consumers, the more choice they have, the more demanding they become. They want to learn from your sales material. They want to walk away with value from your sales material, otherwise they're not going to buy from you. So it is in the content that you get a sale. Write this down, everybody listening. The pitch is not where you get a sale. Never, ever. It's the content where you get a sale. So let me explain how that works. So let's say right now, I come to you and I'm like, I'm a weight loss expert, weight loss coach. I've helped people lose weight. I charge $1,000 a month. I'll coach you. Listen, there's 3 things we're going to do. You're going to eat less, move more, and drink more water. Now I'll take that check for $1,000, please. You're going to be like, what? Now, the thing is, that's the truth, actually. That's really what you need to do to lose weight. But people are like, that's not aha at all. I got 0 aha moment from what you just said. So I'd have to spin it and say, we're going to eat using something called the PALM method. This means you can eat anything you want in the world, called the PALM method. I will show you how to drop weight every day, eating whatever you want. Number 2, we're going to create a 7-minute metabolism boosting routine every morning. All you need is 7 minutes and your body will burn 1,100 calories throughout the day on its own. Number 3, I'm going to show you the lemon secret, how to get more water in every day that you love, that's tasty and delicious, and blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden, the person's like, where do I sign up? I probably said the same thing, but that aha, right? The aha is so important. So in the content, you've got to focus on the what, never the how. But this is where copywriters win or lose. You've got to be able to express the what and create an aha. A lot of people start leaning on the how to create the aha and you lose the sale. But you got to be able to create an aha through the what. And that is what's going to give you credibility. So right now, as you're listening to the podcast, you're this far in, why are you still listening? Because most likely at some point you've had at least a little bit of an epiphany, a little aha. You're like, wow, this guy knows his stuff. Let me keep listening. I think I got something to learn from him. If I was blowing a bunch of steam up your butt and I was telling you a bunch of stuff you've already heard, you already know, you're tuned out by now. Last piece I talk about content. I have a problem with an old saying that is talked about in copywriting a lot, and perhaps it was true 20, 30, 40 years ago. I don't find it to be true now. They always say sell the sizzle, not the steak. Well, when's the last time you walked into a restaurant, Carlos, and said, I want a brown, steamy, buttery, garlicky, blah, blah, blah steak? You usually say, I want a 12-ounce ribeye.
Right. That's exactly what I actually asked for.
Freaking meat. Well, ladies and gentlemen, your consumers now want the meat. You can't sizzle them. If you sizzle too much, you're the used car salesman. And they're out the door because they got choice. They're out. So the content is where you get the sale. This is why I proved to you. When I do, how many people have ever been on a webinar where you know there's a pitch at the end? Yeah, most people. Yeah. Right? Do you know how many every webinar I've done in my life, when I go from content to transition, I lose 10% of the audience. It's de facto. The reason is this. I don't care how good your pitch is. I don't care how good your offer is. If I'm not interested, I'm not interested. Look, I don't golf. I'm not a golfer. So if you come to me tomorrow and you say, dude, these golf clubs, this is what Tiger Woods uses. These are $10,000 golf clubs. I'll get you right now $2,000, 80% off, $2,000. I'm going to look at you and say, that's great, man, but no thanks. Yeah. I don't golf. I don't need golf clubs. So the reason you stay to watch a pitch is because you're already sold. Most people don't think about that. The only reason you watch a pitch is because you're already sold. The only question you have left on your mind is how much? So you're sold. So it's the content that sells you. All right. So now you move from content, step 4, transition. Now this is the awkward part. See, if you've done step 1, 2, and 3 really well, you've become kind of friendly with the person. You've developed a rapport, the likability, the relatability. They're having good feelings about you. So this is like being in a room with your friend. Your friend calls you, says, meet me for lunch. You meet them. You call them, say, meet me for lunch. They meet you. They're like, hey, what's going on, pal? And you're like, hey, man, I'll sell you this iPhone for 50% off right now, $200. Take it or leave it. Your friend would be like, the hell's wrong with you? You know, it's awkward. You don't ask friends for money. So transitions are awkward, right? There's an elephant in the room. Oh my God, he's going to pitch me. He's going to ask me for money. Why is he doing this to me? He's been so nice. I've had such good rapport with him through this video, through this written sales letter. So rip the Band-Aid, address the elephant in the room. The purpose of transition is why. Why do you want my money? Do you know how crazy it is? People will give you money when you just explain why you need money. And sometimes it's as simple as, listen, this is my livelihood. I got bills to pay. I got kids to feed. I got a roof to put over my head. I work really hard to bring you this knowledge. This is my full-time life. I got to charge you for it. And people say, oh, fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
Instantly diffuses an awkward situation. So the transition should be quick. Listen, a lot of people don't pitch well. You got a lot of people that at the heart are trainers, are experts, are trainers, and are teachers. So they're really pumped up when they're talking the content. And then this is what I see it all the time. The pitch time comes and they're like, okay, everybody, so now that we've finished the content portion, I'd like to tell you about this product I've put together for you. And you know what's happening during that time? I talk about the subconscious and conscious mind. I want to give everyone another visual that you can walk away with that will teach you how to write copy and how it's all psychology. So imagine, I'm going to go very stereotypical, okay? For a minute, I'm going to go stereotypical male-female role in a married couple. I don't want anyone to get all upset about this. I'm just trying to draw home a point. Stereotypical, you know, you've got a husband-wife combo. You have a wife very heart-focused, very worried about the kids and, you know, protecting them. And she's very emotional usually, right? So you got the husband who's arms crossed. I don't trust anything. I don't believe you. Make a logical argument. All right. So imagine you're a life insurance salesman. You walk into this house. It's 1 against 2. You got both husband and wife in front of you. Who do you sell first?
The wife.
You got to sell the wife first because you can quickly make it a 2 against 1 deal. Yeah. How do you sell the wife? Well, if you're an observant salesperson, you look around the floor, you see toys. You say, hey, I see toys. You have children? Yeah, great. You're going to lean on that. Protection, safety, future, college, education. What if you die? What's going to happen to them? They're going to, you know, there's going to be a point in time in which the wife's going to turn to the husband and say, you get this. That's right. Now you got 2 against 1. So this is what's happening in a sales pitch. The step 1, 2, and 3, you're talking to the subconscious mind. Now imagine there's a relationship between the subconscious and the conscious mind. The conscious mind has given the subconscious mind, let's just say for sake of example, 3 cards. And the conscious mind tells the subconscious mind, listen, man, you get hyped up and excited to buy stuff all the time. I give you 3 cards a month. That is you can turn in a card and that will allow me to go evaluate what you want to buy. I'm not saying I'm going to buy it. I will evaluate it, but you get 3 a month. That's it. So now during the transition, that's when the subconscious mind would be cashing on a card. So if you get super awkward and if you get weird, what's going to happen is it's going to send a really weird signal to the subconscious mind that is sold and about to ask for the card. But now it says, whoa, what's wrong? Why is this guy talking all weird? Does he not believe or does she not believe in their offer? Like, why are they so unexcited and awkward sounding? They're going to say, I don't know if I want to turn my card in just yet. I only got 3 of these, right? So now let's just say you do the transition right. If quick, rip the Band-Aid, tell the why, move into the pitch. And so now the card has been given to the logical mind. It says, please, conscious mind, we'd like to make this purchase. What do you think? Now the purpose of the pitch is very simple. Most say it's to get the sale. It is not. It is to confirm the sale. All right? Now, what do I mean by that? Listen, humans are innately very greedy. And humans, when it comes to buying stuff, are kind of evil. Let me explain that. So let's imagine you've been driving down the street and your neighbors, they've got this store. They've got like a local store that sells things. And you drive by every day. You love your neighbors. They're really nice people. And every day you drive by like, man, I really got to stop at their antique store. I really got to stop at that store. I got to support my neighbor. I really got to stop there one day. One day I'm going to do it. One day I got to stop there. One day. All of a sudden, it's been months, maybe a couple of years, you see going out of business, 70% off.
Yeah.
Turn right in. All of a sudden, one day becomes now day.
Yeah.
You move in because you got a deal going on. So I tell a personal story. My wife and I got married. We're looking for a house. We put some money down on our first property. I didn't really like it that much, but whatever. I was like short-term house. Man, it got dragged on forever, and it never ended up being built. And then we got switched to another lot. That one also gets dragged on forever, and that never gets built, gets switched to another lot. Finally, I sue them, get my money back. It's been like a year and a half. We're really just stressed out, and I find this new home. Oh, man, we fall in love with it. We negotiate. It's really expensive. It's like 4 times the price of the original home. It was really expensive, but I love the house. This is my house. I'm not going to move from here for 10, 15 years. negotiate months, negotiate. And the day comes, they're like, all right, we accept. Put your deposit down. I write a $50,000 check for deposit. I give it to them. I walk out the door of the model house, and my heart falls to the pit of my stomach. And I'm like, shit, what did I just do? I just signed my life away. Now it means I can't move out of here. What if I don't love the house anymore? What if the house sucks? What if this sucks? What if that sucks? What, la, 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 la. But I already signed. I'm done. The deal's done. Now months go by. They won't build a house. They keep putting it off, keep putting it off. I'm having panic attacks inside. I'm thinking maybe I should get out of this. My God, it's so much money. I don't know. And at one point I'm like, okay, I really think I should call my lawyer, you know, the one that helped me negotiate the deal. Maybe I should find a way to get out. But I'm like not able to do it. And one day I get this email, random email from the builder that says, hey, we've decided not to build your house. If you could just please sign this addendum, we will be happy to return your deposit. I'm like, whoa, gift from God. Like I could get out. But I couldn't help but think, why? Why are they not building my house? What's going on here? So I called my lawyer. I said, hey, I'm kind of maybe interested in getting my money back, actually. I've been kind of freaking out about this house. So, but just for shits and giggles, could you please find out for me why they decided not to build my house? He's like, yeah, I'll go find out. Has a meeting with them. The builder was too honest. The builder told them, actually, it's because we're giving him the best lot. We way over negotiated. We're really not making any money, and he's getting the best lot, the best house. He's getting features we don't even offer anymore. It's just not profitable enough for us. My lawyer called me and told me this, and I said, listen, they signed a contract. You tell them to give me my damn house or I will sue their pants off. Instant transformation. At that point, the only thing I wanted was my house. Thankfully, got it. Loved the house. It was awesome. But such a lesson learned about the pitch. Confirm the sale. The human mind during a pitch wants to know, if I give you $1, are you giving me 10 back? That's it. Is it worth it to me? That's what you're asking. This is why you see but wait, there's more, and bonus, 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 because they want to see massive value. The logical, conscious mind is thinking, all right, I'm giving him $100, but I feel pretty good about it. He's giving me about $1,000 worth of value back. All right, we'll do it. So the purpose of the pitch is to confirm a sale. This is why they do all of the bonusing and everything. So when you look at the 5-step process from that perspective, it builds this amazing narrative that words don't matter. If you've got them on the right journey with you, that's why it's consumption. If I want a webinar, man, and you spend 2.5 hours with me or 2 hours with me, you're buying. It's just what's going to happen.
Absolutely.
Right? So that is the 5-step formula I use for everything when it comes to copywriting. Everything.
You've dropped so much gold on this. I just wanted to shut up the whole time so you can keep on speaking. I'm like, this is so good. Now I've officially got 2 pages of notes that if you guys have been listening to this and you weren't driving, I hope you've taken notes as well. If you haven't re-listened to this, and make sure you take notes. Anik, man, thank you so much for being on the show. Where can people find out more about you, get connected with you? How can people get a hold of you?
Yeah, thanks, man. Well, listen, I do some amazing podcast episodes. We do 3 episodes every single week. It's called The Fighting Entrepreneur. So go into Apple iTunes. You can go to YouTube. Just type in Anik Singal. My YouTube channel is youtube.com/Anik Singal, AnikSingalcom. And all my podcasts are there. You can also go to anikpodcast.com, ANIK podcast.com. And all my episodes are there. So please subscribe to The Fighting Entrepreneur. But the other thing I want to invite you to do is go to learn.com, LURN.com. We are building a community of entrepreneurs. It's free to join, lifetime free membership. I even have a free copywriting course in there. It's called Copywriting Bootcamp. Just type that in once you get your free membership. Totally free, no credit cards, Copywriting Bootcamp. Get in there, join the Learn Nation. We're going to be putting 10 million users into that. We're going to be putting 10 million entrepreneurs into this platform worldwide, connecting everybody. You can either be a part of the movement or you can watch the movement move right by you. So learn.com, anikpodcast.com, subscribe to The Fighting Entrepreneur. I would love to teach you and take you along this journey of me being an entrepreneur. And yeah, you know what? Every now and then I do a lot of podcast episodes about copywriting because I love it. So.
Hell yeah. Guys, make sure you go check that out. Again, go to learn.com, LURN.com. Go to anikpodcast.com.
Yes, sir.
anikpodcast.com, and then make sure you subscribe to the actual podcast called The Fighting Entrepreneur. Anik, man, thank you so much for being on the show. It's been awesome.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. It's been great. And as I always say, everybody, when life pushes you, stand straight, smile, and push it the heck back. Talk to you later.